today begins with Pooh and Piglet, who had just finished lunch. And as we all know, just after lunch is the perfect time for very important discussions between a piglet and a Pooh Bear.
Oh, Piglet.
Yes, Pooh?
Where do you suppose the bees get all their honey?
I don't know, Pooh. They do seem to have an awful lot of it, though. It would take an awfully large honey jar to hold all of it. Don't you think, Pooh?
Oh, yes, I do think, Piglet. It certainly would take a... Oh, Piglet. That's it.
What's it, Pooh?
A giant honey pot. Oh, there must be one out there somewhere. There's no other explanation. Oh, can you imagine, Piglet, if we were to find such a honey pot?
I imagine it would be very nice for you indeed, Pooh.
Why, I would never have to worry about getting honey again. We must find it.
Of course, the truth is that bees make honey themselves from flowers. But Pooh and Piglet didn't know this, so Pooh went about making up their plan.
I thought it would be best to start with a bit of background on this giant honey pot, which, by the way, shall henceforth be referred to as the Great Honey Pot.
The Great Honey Pot? My, this is exciting.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Now then, the legend of the Great Honey Pot began, I believe it was just a bit ago after we'd finished lunch. Yes, and our good friend Piglet happened to mention it.
That's true, Pooh. I did.
Well, so much for background. Let's move on to the plan. Now, as you know, our plan has 3 steps.
Steps? How official.
Think of Piglet. Now, step 1. Come up with a plan.
Well, we've already done that.
Quite right. Step 2. Find the Great Honey Pot. Step 3. Eat the honey that's inside of it forever and ever and ever and ever. Well, there it is. I would like to thank our good friend Owl for helping us with the writing part. Are there any questions? Yes, you there, Piglet.
Well, it just occurred to me that where there's a giant honey pot, there might be giant bees as well. Giant bees with giant stingers that sting.
Oh, another good point, Piglet. We shall have to look out for those. Come, we have work to do.
But Pooh, about these giant bees.
But Pooh, of course, not being a worrier like Piglet, wasn't concerned about any giant bees. He just wanted to get a move on and find the giant honey pot. And so, the very next day, he and Piglet set out to begin their search. They searched and searched. And after searching through many pages of the book, they searched high.
Push on, Piglet. We must push on, for the Great Honey Pot awaits.
Yes, Pooh.
They searched low.
Keep digging, Piglet. Keep digging. It's got to be somewhere.
Yes, Pooh.
And as the days went by, Pooh only became more and more determined to find the Great Honey Pot.
Good morning, Piglet.
Good morning, Pooh.
But as more and more days went by, Piglet, along with being a bit nervous about the giant bees, was growing more than a bit tired of looking for the Great Honey Pot.
Must find honey pot.
Pooh, look, a butterfly. Shall we chase it?
Must find honey.
Look, Pooh, there's a cloud that looks just like Eeyore. Do you see it?
Must find the Great Honey Pot. Must find the Great Honey Pot. Oh, yes, Piglet. Did you say something?
Oh, Pooh, all we ever do is look for this great honey pot. Honey, honey, honey. Have you ever thought that there might be such a thing as too much honey?
too much honey to... Did you say too much honey? What are you getting at?
It means too much, honey, Pooh. And what about the giant bees?
Giant bees, you say? Giant bees, yes. Oh, I understand now, Piglet.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm so relieved, Pooh. I thought you might be disappointed.
What? Disappointed? Oh, no, Piglet, not at all. I see exactly what you're saying, and, thank you for reminding me. Now, you wait right here. Giant bees. Oh, perfect. I only wonder that I didn't think of it before.
Oh, I'm so very glad that Pooh understood. I wonder what we shall do now.
Buzz, buzz, bee sound.
Pooh sticks, perhaps? Cloud watching?
Buzz, 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 buzz.
A giant bee! Ah, help! Help!
Oh, no, Piglet, it's me, Pooh, Piglet. Bother.
And so Pooh returned home, feeling badly that he had frightened his friend. As he went to sleep that night, he couldn't stop thinking about something Piglet had said.
Too much honey. Too much honey. Too much honey.
And he had a very strange dream.
Too much honey. Too much honey. Too much honey. There's a magical honey pot in the wondrous wood where the honey grows. Smell the whispering honey air. You can take a swim where the honey flows. You arrive at last where it flows so sweet, and you dip right in and you start to eat. Too much honey. Taste like it. Too much honey. Too much honey. Stand too much honey. Sticky, sloppy, slippery, unctuous and oozy. Have some more and now you're getting woozy. Too much honey. Too much honey. You've gone from feeling lucky to feeling kind of yucky. And soon it will progress until you feel completely blessed. Too much honey. You can't stop. Too much honey. Too much honey. Till you drop. Too much honey. Now your fur is a sticky mess, and your eyes are wide and honey glazed. You're surrounded by ickiness, and your little brain feels honey dazed. Too much honey. Too much honey.
Oh, goodness. Now I understand. Oh, I must find Piglet. Oh, Piglet. Oh, there you are.
Pooh, I'm sorry. I just can't go with you to find the great...
No, Piglet. I just wanted to apologize. Oh, I suppose I got a bit carried away trying to find this great honey pot. Even more so than usual. And I've decided that I'm not going to look for the great honey pot. Well, at least not for now.
You're not?
No, Piglet. As wonderful as honey is, it's just as important to do other things that you like to do, too. After all, you are my very best friend.
I must say, I'm glad you feel that way, Pooh.
I'm glad I do, too, Piglet.
Pooh, would you like to take a walk? It's a lovely day for cloud watching.
I would like that very much indeed.
And so ends the story of the day Pooh found out that having one good friend is better than having all the honey in the world.
Piglet, I don't suppose you would happen to have a smackerel of...
Ooh,
Oh, yes. Sorry, never mind. I suppose it can wait, can't it? For just a little bit. But not long, of course.
One very blustery morning in the 100-acre wood, Pooh and Piglet were out flying a kite.
I believe that windy, blustery days are especially good for kite-flying, Piglet. Or so I've been told.
Oh, yes, Pooh, but they're especially bad for very small animals, such as me.
Oh, not to worry, Piglet. I shall be right here the whole time. What could possibly go wrong? Bother. You know, Piglet, perhaps you were right. It may be a bit too blustery to... Piglet. Oh, goodness. Piglet! Piglet!
And so Pooh, worried about his friend, hurried off in search of Piglet.
Oh, Rabbit. Hello.
Oh, hello, Pooh.
Yes, I was just wondering, Rabbit, did you happen to see Piglet floating by?
What? Piglet? Floating by? Oh, no, Pooh. Why?
Well, he seems to have sort of drifted off, I'm afraid.
Piglets don't just drift off, Pooh.
Well, I'm afraid ours did, Rabbit.
You know, Pooh, I'm afraid I don't have much time for flying pig stories just now. Perhaps you should ask Eeyore. Maybe he's seen Piglet flying around, if that's what's really going on.
Oh, yes. Well, that's a very good idea, actually. Thank you, Rabbit.
What was that? I could have sworn I heard something. Oh, well, probably just an old crow.
So, have you seen him, Eeyore?
You're talking about Piglet, right? The little guy with the striped shirt.
Oh, yes, that's him.
I don't know what you're trying to say, Pooh, but I don't know anything about a drifting kite or a piglet.
Well, I wasn't trying to say anything.
A little piggy drifts off on a kite and everybody thinks it must be that donkey's fault. It figures.
Yes, it does. Or no, it doesn't. Oh, no. No, what I mean, Eeyore, is... thank you.
Sure, whatever. Huh? Thought I heard my name. Must have been the wind.
Pooh went to Kanga's house, thinking she might have some good ideas about how he might find his good friend Piglet.
Tied to a kite, And how did that happen?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it happened when I tied him to a kite.
Oh, yes. Well, I would imagine that a small animal like Piglet, tied to a kite, could have floated almost anywhere in the wood on a windy day like this.
You know, Pooh, Kanga, if I may say so, a windy day like today might blow a piglet anywhere in the book.
Even in another story?
Well, that's quite right. You may have to look around quite a bit to find your little friend Piglet.
Well, then, I shall find my friend Piglet in the other stories in the book. Now, how would I do that?
Well, the longest journey starts with the first step.
Oh, that sounds very wise, although I'm not sure what it means. But thank you, Mr. Narrator.
So Winnie the Pooh began looking for Piglet in the other stories in the Book of Pooh. He looked in the story in which Rabbit thought he'd lost a day.
Chores, like peeling twice as many beans and sweeping double floors.
Nope,
There's carrots
not
for
here.
two and a double load of leaves from every kind of...
He looked in the story where Tigger lost his laugh.
No bother.
He looked in the story in which Eeyore had a tail-anniversary.
Jump out and yell surprise!
Low Owl, low Cassie.
Pooh looked through many, many stories, but he just couldn't find his poor lost friend.
Finding Piglet in the book is proving to be a bit difficult. Mr. Narrator?
Well, there are other parts of a book, any book really, besides the stories themselves.
There are?
Of course.
Well, in that case, I'd best get some balloons.
Now, a book has a cover that conceals a surprise, a title or picture to draw you inside. A spine holds the pages together within. The length of the story makes a book thick or thin, but the spine and the cover are only the surface. You open a book to give it a purpose. Lost in a book, lost in a book, a world full of wonder wherever you look. Find your way home, it's easy to do. Get lost in a book and you'll learn something new.
Oh, really? Oh!
Now the table of contents contains every clue to where you must go, where to read, what to do.
There are so many letters.
Why, they're seeds to make words, and stories will blossom with each page you turn. Search for a chapter.
Find a lost friend.
Start at the top
Yes.
or skip to the end.
Oh.
Read every word till you finish the text. See what happens first and what happens next. Lost in a book, lost in a book, a world full of wonder wherever you look. But stay with the book, and the book stays with you. Each time you get lost, you will find something new. After all, in a book is where I found you.
So you did. Oh, it's very easy and a bit fun to get lost in a book. Isn't it, Mr. Narrator?
Indeed it is, Pooh. Indeed it is. Getting lost in a book is my favorite thing to do.
Oh, yes, but I am getting a bit worried about Piglet. Oh, however shall I find him? Oh, bother. I would... Mr. Narrator, what is all this writing down here?
This is the table of contents, Pooh.
The table? Will we be stopping for, lunch?
Oh, no, Pooh. The table of contents is a list of all the chapters in the book and where you can find them. Here is chapter 7, entitled In Which Pooh Finally Finds Piglet and the Kite.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, then we shall go to that chapter right away, right? But how do we find it?
Well, we simply look for the page number next to the story, and that's where we'll find it.
Oh, my. I wish I'd known about this table of contents before. I don't suppose there's a chapter in which Pooh finds lots and lots of honey?
I'm sure there is, Pooh. But shouldn't we find Piglet first?
We should. Yes, you're right, of course. Piglet, yes, Piglet. A little wind, please.
And so the wind picked up Pooh and blew him up and out of the book, all the way to page 72, where he resumed his search for Piglet.
Piglet! Oh, Piglet! Piglet! Oh, I don't see him anywhere. Oh, dear. Oh, I wonder how this will end. You know, I don't much care for stories that leave you hanging.
Me neither.
Piglet? Piglet! There you are. Oh, I was beginning to worry about you.
Oh, I'm all right, Pooh. Actually, it was kind of fun.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Piglet, because I was hoping we could fly our kite again tomorrow.
Oh, well, perhaps. Or maybe we could have a nice, quiet tea party instead.
Oh, yes, that would be fun, too. Now, let me think. Who should we invite?
Pooh,
Yes, Piglet.
could you help me down?
Oh, yes. Why, certainly, Piglet.
And so ended our two friends' adventure in the Book of Pooh, in which they learned just how exciting books can be.
Oh, little butterfly. Here, little flutterby.
Hello, Pooh.
Oh, hello, Mr. Narrator. Just a minute, little butterfly.
Did you enjoy our stories today?
Oh, very much indeed, Mr. Narrator. I found out that a plan is a way to do something which you think out ahead of time.
And it helps to write a plan down, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, and I also found out about all the different parts of a book, like the chapters and the table of contents. I like my book very much. Oh, what's that, butterfly? Oh, yes. Oh, so sorry to keep you waiting. I'll be right... Oh, wait! Oh, goodbye, Mr. Narrator. Here, little butterfly. Flutterby.
Goodbye, Pooh.
Now's the time to close the book.
Though we've just begun, it's true.
We'll say goodbye until another day.
Another day with new adventures on the way.
They're on the way.
We're on our way,
So off we go. We won't be far. We'll be waiting here for you.
With hills to run
And higher trees to climb.
and someone there to catch you.
In the nick of time. So it's goodbye for now.